This episode is powered by Shoshin.
Shoshin are here for the up-and-comers, the never-giver-uppers, the risers and the fallers, fueling the journey of all athletes with quality products.
For every kick, hit, pass, Shoshin are there. Sharing your passion for nurturing athletes. Together, we can empower the next generation of athletes, one game at a time.
Ready to play. Set to improve. Shoshin.
To find out more information on Shoshin and where to purchase their amazing products, visit www.shoshin-sports.com. Hello, Future Kenzie here. This is part 2 of our conversation with Darren Campbell and Jason Gardner. Enjoy.
Welcome back to Beyond the Sport, brought to you by Team Super School. We're here with Jason Gardner and Darren Campbell, and I believe, guys, you've got a bit of a surprise for us.
We decided to bring these for you guys to see.
Oh, you've actually brought them in.
Wow, look. They are.
Oh my goodness.
They're weighty, aren't they?
They're proper medals, that's what we say. They are proper medals.
That is incredible.
Oh my goodness.
Holding these in your hand is, well, as you know, that feels very special. That is
It's mad. I think we're very fortunate, especially having Team Super Schools. The amount of young people that have held both those medals, for me, that's.
Can I put them
that's yeah, of course you can. That's more valuable than me just having them sat at home. My kids will say the medals ain't there for on show because, having your kids having to look at those all day and thinking I've got to be as good as that is ridiculous.
The sound of them. Oh yes. I have never had this feeling, and I never will again.
Oh, it's amazing.
It feels like money, doesn't it?
It feels like money.
But how motivating is that?
Oh my word, you can feel it on your neck. It's just like, it's a whole out of body
You
experience.
just enjoy that moment. We'll leave you there. But I mean, as you say, to share these with kids and for them to be able to hold this, because not many people, I haven't held a medal like this before.
They've seen their faces.
Yeah.
Like, where was I?
It's funny,
Brazil.
isn't it? It's funny how,
Brazil. And I went to favela because I wanted to go up and I've got a photo on my Instagram where I can't speak Brazilian. Do you get what I mean? But the translator's obviously saying da da da, and then I bring out the medal, and for me always it'll never change when a young person sees it and they open their mouth and they just can't talk.
Yeah.
And they're literally just like, the thought I've got in Brazil is the more trying to grab hold of the medal and I'm holding it high.
That's what I had just then.
There's moments of that,
Yeah.
But I think what's amazing is that I can't imagine how many children have held those and thought, I want one of these of my own one day. So, by you sharing that with children, you're planting that seed, I suppose. Of
and look, I always try and balance it out. It's not about the gold medal, if I'm totally honest. It's actually not about the gold medal. It's the lessons. It's the resilience we spoke about earlier. Yeah. Every single thing that I am and every single thing that I've been through and every single thing that I've overcome, I'm fortunate, represents that gold medal. But the gold medal doesn't define me. Do you get what I mean? And I think that's important for young people, that just have a dream. Yeah, just have a dream, whatever it can be. It can be the silliest of dreams. Yeah, I once went to a school and sometimes I go, so what do you want to be when you grow up? And everybody's hands go up, and this one young lady said, I want to be a brain surgeon. So the rest of the kids started laughing, and I went, hold on a minute. I said, imagine someone you love very dearly needs a brain operation. I said, without her dream, who's going to perform that surgery on your loved one? So everybody's dream is important. Do you understand what I mean? Every single person's dream is important, but as I would say to a younger version of me, well, I knew it'd be the lessons, because I knew winning an Olympic gold wouldn't make me rich. And as a kid, you think, oh yeah, rich. And you think fame, and you realise fame ain't what you think it is. So, I've always known that it'll be the stuff I learn winning that I'll be able to transfer them into anything else I want to do. So that's why it's been important always for me, personally, to understand whether I failed or whether I've done well. Just try and understand it. More of the failure, I spend time trying to understand it. I take responsibility then. I own it.
I think you said there in terms of the word rich, I mean, we view rich in different ways, don't we? And
Absolutely.
Actually, the lessons that you are sharing with people, the experiences you've been through, you know, that is richness. I mean, you're giving such a beautiful gift to so many people by sharing your expertise. And as we've said throughout this podcast, not just for young athletes, you're inspiring people to be better human beings in whatever it is they're doing. But of course, we've got to specifically talk about Team Super School, because, you know, what you guys are doing there is absolutely incredible. So it would be great to hear a bit more about your role with that and how that all came about, really.
That starts with Darren.
I was very fortunate. So many people helped me at certain times, just adults. Just at certain times they saved me. And I've always wanted to give back, and having worked with the Youth Sport Trust and different organisations like that, again, I just wanted something, you know, that went into schools, because I always wonder, as much as I was like told what I was told, if I not had the strength from within and a mother who believed in my dream, then, you know, the winning Olympic gold is a stupid dream, as I was told. So I always wonder that if somebody had come in who'd been on that journey and just told me just stuff about it, you know, what would that have inspired inside? So then, I'd done school visits, and with my good friend who's now no longer with us, Todd Bennett, we decided to set up Team Super Schools. Basically go into schools, taking a sports person to try and inspire the young people. All the young people take part in like sponsored exercises. So, you know, we make basically a fun day, but we make it into a fundraiser for the school. But at the end of the day with the students, they get a motivational talk, and that's the real power, or question and answers, where they can ask this sports person anything they want. And I'll be honest, you know, I've probably visited 500 or so schools, but the energy you get from there is priceless. You can't put a value on it. There's not a school that I've not left just feeling inspired, because you see it. You see young people at their most innocent with regards to, they're not tarnished with the burdens of life.
And
I bet you get some great questions.
Just great questions, just pure. Do you understand what I mean? So, it's been going now for 15 years. We've raised over £1 million for schools, and look, COVID hit us really hard, because obviously you can't visit schools. But yeah, we're just going through a transition now where we relaunch it, bring it more into 2025. Again, because of COVID, finding ways to work where you don't actually physically need to be in the school. So I think we've solved a lot of those problems, and we're on a relaunch. As I said earlier, unfortunately, Todd passed away. But before he passed away, we spoke about me bringing somebody in, and I said Jason, and he said yeah, straight away. So it's been tough times for us to keep it going, but I guess one story. When we first launched, we gave out grants to young talented 13 talented sports people. One of the young ladies is now 25. She coaches trampolining, and on Sunday I went to visit her. I haven't seen her in years. She had some young athletes competing in Bath, so I left South Wales, drove to Bath and surprised her. And I think it's just seeing that little bit of support that we gave to her, she's now taking it and is supported more, and that's all you can ever ask. That the people that helped me, hopefully they're looking down going, right, you're doing your bit now, Darren, and hopefully getting other people to go do their bit.
Such amazing work you're doing in schools, Jason. Over 200 schools. What's the long-term ambition for the for the business?
It's continuing to inspire children. It's the same ambition as which we started with, or which Darren and Todd started with, and I was very fortunate to have been invited to take over as like managing director, co-owner of Team Super Schools, and that is, for me, is a byproduct of my opportunity. I mean, Darren, my teammates, our opportunity started in school by, a lot of people can assume that, and take things for granted. But had I not had an opportunity of doing school sports day, I would not have revealed that I was quite good at something or had a talent, because at that particular time, at 5, 6, 7 years of age, I didn't excel in any other aspect of school life. In my subjects or anything. I had very low, probably self-esteem, confidence, and I was one of the shyest kids you could possibly meet. But sport, the opportunity doing school sport, changed my life. It opened up a world which I never ever thought was going to be possible, even when I was a teenager, in terms of what I was maybe being conditioned to do as a young adult, looking at post-school age. Sport totally changed that. And there are those people, there's one teacher in particular, which I can remember, who enabled me to dream. You encouraged me to think about doing something really positive. And I kind of like hold on to those kind of key influences in my early life. And being part of Team Super Schools was one of the most fulfilling things that projects I've been able to work on, because, like Darren says, you only have to go into a school and see the kids have fun by doing the exercises, trying to be the best that they can be. And then having the athlete ambassadors, which we go in, whether doing a demonstration, watching like someone like Christian Thomas, Olympic the medal winner, doing like jumps over and somersaults and stuff like that.
Like 10 kids.
Yeah, they're just like
health and safety.
Yeah, it's just it's so powerful. And then the questions that you get, and to know that you've left, and a sense of job satisfaction, that you've made a change. And we get it so much. You came to our school, or you inspired us to be like X, Y, and Z, and that's what it takes. Just the opportunity to do good work. And this isn't about money. What we do, in fact, the majority of the money we can earn, maybe through the fundraising and stuff like that, ends up getting pumped into trying to go to schools of areas of deprivation, or go to special schools. So it's a lovely project. And the majority of the funds actually raised gets retained for the schools to reinvest in school sport provision. Because remember, when we were growing up, there was a big shift, like school sports days. Suddenly it was seen as competitive sports a bad thing, and then it was off the agenda sports days. So there's, if I'd have been born in an era 10, 15 years later, I wouldn't have had that opportunity to shine. But I actually went as part of their working group to DCMS with the late Tessa Jow, who was Minister of Media, Sport and Culture at the time, with a number of other Olympic athletes, and we were really trying to push to, change this kind of this direction of travel about not providing kids with opportunity to shine. Because most kids that may get frustrated in the classroom can have that self-esteem out in the field of play and stuff like that. So it's great to see over a period of time the ship, turning, the change of direction as a result of some of that lobbying. And we get it. You said these, as wonderful as they are, they just give us the power and open the door to kind of to tell good stories and promote positivity. Because it's actually, that's not the what I look back on and think that's the the end product, and that's the most important thing. The gold medal is not. It's a struggle. It's a journey. It's a process. And the key message as well is enjoy. Try and enjoy yourself. Enjoy the things you like to do in life, and try and be the best that you can be. Whatever you choose to do. And that those lessons learned from sport, or what we practice. What we preach. We try and practice ourselves in terms of now in our lives. Just trying to be the best that we can be.
Can you remember the name of that teacher that you...
Sister Mary, she was a nun. Oh, yeah. So, which is, I got pulled out of a class one time. And I thought, oh gosh, I've been naughty again or something like that. And she came she came, again, power of the medals, right? She came, you know, those little kind of like plasticky gold kind of medals. She came and pulled me out. I remember, because outside our class was like, you know, where you hang your coats up and your, you know, your lunch boxes on the seats on the side. And she got these medals out and said, you know, if you're really good, if you're a good boy, you know, you could win some of these because, you know, you've done really well at school sports day and stuff like that. And that was a positive, you know, that was a positive kind of, you know, experience for me. And which coincided with probably getting engaged with understanding what's this Olympic Games thing like. And, you know, that was back in the day when you had 3 channels on TV. So watching 84 Olympic Games and seeing sport take place and being celebrated, all these kind of all these kind of like, you know, different nationalities, different, you know, skin colours, you know, all the colourful, you know, colourful tracksuits, the flags, opening ceremonies and stuff like that. And then seeing the actual competitions take place and then seeing, you know, people being celebrated for great, you know, performances, it just all kind of, you know, fitted really well with that kind of that period of my time. So, yes, Team Super Schools is a very powerful tool, and our long-term aspiration is to continue inspiring and changing young people's lives,
and hopefully take it across the world. I think that's where I'm at now. I feel like speaking to enough people, travelling to enough different countries, especially the last 4 years being back in athletics. Again, I see the power every day of how sport can change people's lives. So I think being back at the cold face of it every single day, it just makes me want to do more. But I'm a patient man, so just taking my time this time. Taking my time.
Well, you're doing amazing work.
Yeah. It's like it's a bit like winning these things. Yeah, obviously there was 2 other members of our team to help us fulfil our dream of winning an Olympic gold medal, because I wasn't good enough to win an individual. But beyond that is another team and another team of layers. Okay, so you know, we had our relay reserves, we had the coaching management. We were very fortunate. We had the support of the lottery funding, because without that we would not have been able to prepare to win those golds. And it's the same as Team Super Schools. We rely on support. You know, we rely on the schools wanting to invite us to inspire their children, give a good product. But some of our best work has come through the partnerships we've worked with. So we've been fortunate with some wonderful partnerships in the past, like Brioche Pasquier, Jaffa before my time, Fife's Bananas and stuff like that, Brooks running shoes. We've just about to launch a new partnership, which we're really excited about, and we think we're a nice fit for people which are, you know, wanting to, support their kind of core values.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I have no doubt how many children you'll be inspiring through this, but it's really lovely to hear about your childhood and who inspired you. I know, Jason, you mentioned Sister Mary there. Darren, is there anyone that you can look back on, either a teacher, a coach,
there's two
that stands out for you?
Well, first my mum. So my mum spotted my talent when she was 5 years old. She said, I said to her the other day, you say this thing about 5 years old, but how? And she said, basically the gun went and you was at the finish line and the other kids was like still there.
Still there.
So you can imagine, well, at that age, the whistle or whatever goes, and most, exactly, they run and they look around, but I must have been just so focused.
She saw something.
Yeah, she saw something. And I think then my PE teacher, my PE teacher and my maths teacher. My PE teacher, Mr. Law, super above and beyond. I'm not going to sit here and go I was an angel in school, because I wasn't. And I think once I got labelled, I played to that part even worse. I was always close to suspension, being expelled, and back when you could give a kid the cane, I had that a few times.
Really?
My PE teacher, massive inspiration, but one of the best lessons I learnt was my maths teacher. So after my first year in high school, I ended up in bottom group for every single subject. So then my mum banned me from doing sport in my second year. So by my third year, I was in top group for every subject. And I was in this maths lesson, and I was doing my normal thing where I messed about. I started at the back of the class. slowly he moved me to the front of the class, and then we ended up in the storeroom, and he got his trainer, and but it was what he said. Yeah, because by that point I don't feel pain like that, so it didn't matter. That it wasn't the hit that bothered me. It was what he said. He went, it's all right for you. He goes, you want to be this Olympic runner, yada yada yada. But he goes, for the other 29 people in this lesson, this might be the most valuable lesson of their career, of their lives, to help them understand what they want to do with their lives. And he went, so who are you to disrupt that? And I never messed about in his lesson again. I got it. What
was his name?
Mr. McGowan.
Wow.
Mr. McGowan. Yeah. So yeah, it's like, yeah, there's just so many lessons to learn, and for me, there's so many young people that are like me, where you're frustrated, you're angry, there's so much going on in your life at such a young age. It's a lot to deal with. Like the stuff that's gone on in my life, some people may never experience in their whole lifetime. You know, never mind experiencing stuff. I lost my first friend when I was 17. I think up until about 23, I've probably lost another 10. So yeah, they're not scars that just disappear overnight. So yeah, there's young people out there that end up in certain situations and it's not actually what their heart's like. But if you're being bullied, if you're being this, then it's easy then just to join up with that little gang over there. Why? Because now I'm not on my own and now I won't be bullied. So yeah, people trying to understand sometimes why these things happen. It's not as simple as these kids just grow up and decide they want to be bad. It's not that. You just haven't got a clue, because unless you've lived it, you can't possibly understand the pain of it. You can't. But every single day, it's pain, and you're fighting every single day. You know, whether it's mentally, physically, in some way, shape, or form, you fight every day. So unless you have somebody who's managed to get through that and can share and say it will be okay, and if you stay on this, stay on your dreams, stay on your path, you know, eventually you might get what you deserve.
You never know what people's stories are. You never know what's going on in their life. Amazing how that one sentence from that maths teacher could really help you understand.
When you think I'm 51 and I remember it.
Well, clearly it's a really impactful moment
100%.
on your
and
life.
sometimes that's all it takes, isn't it? I think.
Talk to me.
Yeah, and
Talk to me.
you don't know what's going to make someone tick, I suppose. Like for you, that was that mindset shift, and again, I suppose it's gone full circle because now you're going into schools and hopefully giving a lot of children that shift in their
and
mentality.
You know, this. Please don't anybody take this as a dig at teachers, because it's not. Because like I said, I understand my sister's a teacher, so I understand the stuff that kids can put teachers through. So, you know, in our own little way, we want to try and support what the good work that teachers do. My kids don't look up to me. Darren Campbell, Olympic champion, they don't look up to me. You know, in school, it's their teacher, Mr. Lewis. You know, I'll say certain things and they'll go, yeah, but Mr. Lewis said, I go,
Okay, fair play, Mr. Lewis.
So, you know, the true power, the true learning, the true, starts in school.
It's amazing hearing people talk about those teachers, those people, those mentors, those coaches, that then you go on to have these incredible achievements and they're still in your mind. Was there anyone else in your mind from a coach or a teacher that drove you on, that maybe when you're having the success you're thinking, I wonder if I'm making them, you know, proud?
Well, I mean, that was my early kind of school. So I was at St John's Catholic, which I talked about, the sister there. And in secondary school, I had another great experience. There was a great sports ethos at Beach and Cliff School. And Mr. DePledge was our head of sport for the lower school. And I mean, he was just full of energy, opportunities, but also we went on the minibus. We went in teams and took on other kind of schools and stuff. So, which was, we took part in a local bar school. So again, I got to experience that. Not only was I, quite good within the school kind of environment, It was when competing against other schools. So those are all part of this, of the kind of stepping stone, development process of actually this kind of talent is becoming, bigger than and I thought it was. And then again, like my parents, or my mum in particular, would see that I was the best kind of kid in the Bath schools and stuff. And then you started getting a reputation of those peers and being known for being good at something, and that sticks. And then there again, I think moving on was I talked about him earlier on. So the big person who changed my life completely was David Leese. That guy was he was a beyond coach, coach, mentor, like father figure. I mean, the amount of time I spent with him is more time than I'd spent with my own parents and stuff like that. And we were just on this wonderful project, working together. I had the right mindset, I had the heart, the burning desire to do what I had this dream. He had the skill set, and so that was a nice kind of blend of kind of like a melting pot. And it was through sport, interestingly, through working with him and through sport, which enabled me to develop skills and confidence which I hadn't developed in any other kind of area of my life. And learning how to win and learning how to actually overcome the disappointment and learning to kind of strategies to go back and do well again, I was able to apply into my academics, because it wasn't part, I was in one set from bottom in the groups, in the year groups, with a bunch of dossers, and again you look back and you just think, those poor teachers, they're just firefighting, just trying to control a really group, and and I felt looking back, I feel sorry for those teachers. It's hard work. I mean, going in, dealing with that kind of environment every day is your job. It can't be self-fulfilling.
What did with me?
No. So through sport, it enabled me to be successful in the classroom, and it wasn't part of my journey to go and study at university. But luckily I was able to do that. I was the first member of my family to ever go to university. And like we find in what we do, it's really important when you go through the door or do something, which people haven't done before, is not to shut the door behind you, because a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Okay? And it's about actually, here's a pathway, the door's open. And once other people see, it's like, seeing like Darren, when I mentioned at the beginning of this programme, seeing him win Olympic silver medal, the 200s, or European Championship gold, enables others to believe that we too can do that, especially because, we train together, sometimes, I'd beat him and stuff like that, and it rubs off. Darren's told me many times when he was a junior, he shadowed Linford Christie. He shadowed the greatest sprinter of this country. So he was able to learn of, what it takes to be the best. And I think what you'll find, particularly with Darren, and like hopefully myself, what we do with our school sport business and our work with the British Athletics and mentoring next generations, is we give back, we share our experiences to help people to go on and fulfill their potentials.
Yeah, absolutely love that.
Yeah.
And how have you seen specifically, I suppose, athletics, but sport in general really change since you were children at school to now when you're going in and visiting schools?
I wouldn't say it's changed so much. I think, what I would say is there for those who have talent, there's a lot more pathways to help them excel. I don't know. I wouldn't say anything else has changed. I think from a success point of view, I think we do need to. I think young people are different then in that respect. Yeah, they've got more distractions.
Yeah.
And actually getting them gripped into something, you're going to have to find different ways of doing it. So I think things have to change then, if in that respect, because it has to fit in with the way young people's lives are now. I think in that, because so much is done over the phone, communication changes with young people, because they communicate here and it's with smiling on like Snapchat. I go to my daughter, "What are you doing?" I'm dropping into work and she's pulling faces. I'm like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
I just replied to, "What? How?"
I know, but it's
Yeah.
another massive
It's a-
challenge.
Yeah.
It's a big challenge.
Yeah.
It's another major challenge. So, look, I think life's about it.
I know what you mean, my son.
I
need to crash a car every
I
time.
think every parent has been there going, "What are you doing?"
What is going on?
Yeah, but I had to say the other day, I went, "What are you doing?" I said, "Really?" I said, "We're in 15 minutes and I've seen you do this."
But you know
So
what?
I
That's
like
filters or something.
Yeah, they just do. Yeah, funny photos, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know the reply.
Yeah.
But
that's a whole other.
Yeah,
well,
that's a different podcast.
But I think rather than this is their world, this is what I realised. This is their world, so it's not for them to change. It's for us to create. Yeah, so it fits in with their world. Yeah, because they're the next generation through.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh well, in our day.
Yeah.
No, in our day I had to go to the phone box.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I remember being in America and getting the phone card. You have to buy
right,
a phone card,
right.
Scratch off for whatever.
There you go.
Go
So-
to a phone box. It was, different.
Right,
world.
now you can pay for your
Yeah.
food with that.
Yeah.
So, I think with the way we're looking to elevate Team Super Schools again, it's incorporating young people now, the generation now, how they absorb information, even like this podcast, it's how people absorb information. So, I'm not one of those older people that go, oh, no, I don't go and forget our day. It's more about move with the times and how do we re-engage with young people when it comes to sport. My kids are older. I don't want them to be, it's never been about them being sports people, but I want sport to be a part of their lives. Yeah, my son's 25, he works, but he plays football on a Saturday. Why? Because it relieves his stress from working 9 to 5. Going to the gym, it relieves the stress. So it how can I put it? We need to come away from where it's elitist, because there's safe places now for those with talent and elite. And what I'm also seeing is young people develop quicker. Yeah, do you see the 13-year-old run a crazy time, 60 metres?
No.
Okay, a 13-year-old ran a world-class 60-metre time, like top world-class.
Really?
And then there's the 15-year-old, who's run 10:04, my PB, right. But that's because there's so much information about training. Yeah. So we're actually accelerating their journeys. Yeah. That's what's happening, because none of these kids look like they haven't trained. They all look like they've been training from birth. Yeah. But that's because of our knowledge with regards to training. Okay, that's great for elite, but let's not forget those that actually sport, fitness needs to be a part of their life for the rest, for well-being. Why? Because it's no surprise we've got a mental health problem. Yeah, when everything's here on the phone, this, that, and people can get at you without actually having to come to your face. So we have to create something that allows people, to be able to just let off that steam, but in a way that they feel safe doing it.
Like a healthy relationship with sport.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I mean, look, it's we spent a number of years working with Youth Sport Trust as school sport ambassadors, and we know some of the biggest challenges, healthy lifestyles, obesity levels, kids being inactive and stuff like that. And one of the biggest kind of areas where you can try and tackle that is, certainly in schools when you've got the children, it's really vital and important that they have access to sport, exercise, and that can come across many different ranges of opportunities. It doesn't have to be competitive sport. It could be just learning new skills, and just creating fun is probably the most important thing to do, because when you're having fun, it's easy to be getting kind of active and stuff without actually knowing it. But when it's prescribed and you think, I don't like doing that, you won't do it.
Yeah, so true.
I think for me is making sure even after school, it's like the opportunities is, are available, accessibility. Now we all know, back in our day, you can go in a park and do stuff. Now it's everything is, as health and safety and stuff like that. Facilities are being closed down all over the place. Or there's barriers to entry to go in to use a nice facility. It costs a lot of money, or is already booked out. So
Who's got £8 to let my kid go run on the track for an hour?
So this is some of the big challenges I think we're having, and you know, and it needs to be, well, hopefully can be addressed. I know there are lots of people trying to do that, provide opportunities, but we're from a privileged kind of background now, you know, we probably, you know, in comparison to some people, we've earned a reasonable amount of money, but there are a lot of people which struggle to feed their children. We at Team Super Schools, we're talking about trying to provide opportunities for kids to be active, okay, and have fun and learn all those, you know, release stress and stuff like that. But when they're coming to school and they're hungry because they're not getting fed at home, and schools are having to give them breakfast clubs and after school, you know, like supper clubs, this is a you know, a frightening reality. And it was only through Team Super School sometimes when I go in and start to realise that, you know, the challenges schools have, they're not just, you know, the head teachers, the teachers not just there as educators, they're, like I say, they're going to provide all these other kind of services and stuff like that, which is a concern.
Yeah, there's a lot of challenges for teachers. I'm thinking about going back to sort of PE in school when you were doing it, and now you're going back in as educators. How have you seen the change in PE? And I guess what would your message be? We talked about teachers a lot. What would your message be to those PE teachers now?
It's just about trying to make it as fun as possible. I think sometimes things have changed because of money, and sometimes it's not even the PE teacher teaching PE. So then how much knowledge and information does that person have? You know, maybe, again, that's something we could support in a way where, you know, because we have all this knowledge, how can we help those teachers that maybe are a trained, qualified, whatever PE teacher, and they're just providing a session because kids ain't stupid. Yeah. So they know the difference between somebody who loves sport, and then somebody that's just doing it because the PE teacher.
Because most
they have
to. They're doing their bit.
Yeah, they're doing their bit.
Most primary schools that won't have a you know, designated, you know, person that's actually there trained to do sport. You know, be another subject, kind of teacher lead. You know, trying to make the kids active. And like you say, it's all about the experience, isn't it? We all can probably, in this room, think about those teachers that's given you a positive experience, whether it's, you know, academic subjects or sport, and the power of having those good teachers and what they can do for you. And I think that's sometimes, and that's the great thing. When our team goes into a school, or and particularly maybe a school which has got challenges, I say to my team that it's really important to really even, you know, over deliver, you know, excel and inspire in these schools, because some of these children aren't getting that from some of the kind of, you know, experiences they're delivering if the sport provision's lacking, especially if it's, you know, dealing with, you know, really, you know, difficult situations. I mean, there's some schools been to, like, you know, majority of the people don't even speak English. You know, so you can imagine the challenges of trying to teach, you know, subjects, you know, English and language, when most people don't, you know, could be coming from different countries or war-torn or what have you. So that's why we have to go there and over deliver. So put smiles on their face. They've had fun.
Because we don't. When we go there, I haven't done one for a while, but I've just taken my mind back there. I try and make an experience for the teachers as well.
Yes.
And I try and also take some of the... I understand my responsibility. So where I can, if it's possible in an answer, I'll go, always listen to your teacher. Yeah. They will guide you. They're here, you know, even... Don't be nervous about going into exams, because teachers just want to see you do your best, you know. That there is a
they're
stigma.
on your side.
Yeah, they're on your side. Yeah, and sometimes it could be because of parents had a bad experience and they're sending that negativity through their kids. And sometimes parents ain't even got the time to know exactly what's going on with their child. This is the real world, and every day a parent either takes the kid or sends the kid to school and hopes that they'll learn some stuff and they'll make it back home from school. You know, this is the real world. So I think just to think, it teachers alone to solve these problems. No, it's sports people, it's actors, it's all of us. If you've achieved, then it's all of our responsibility to go and help. That's just the way I see it. No pressure on anybody, but it's that's just how I see it. If you've managed to get through, as Jason said, so if he opened the door, there's an option you can close it behind him and not care who else comes through, or you can leave it open and go, anybody else want to come through with me?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
totally.
I've got, just listening to you guys talk about teachers, I remembered a story from school about a particular teacher when you were saying like everyone's got that teacher.
Yeah.
Her name was Mrs. Ruffle.
Yeah,
Great
yeah.
name. And she taught communication studies when I went to college, so after GCSEs. And part of our course, I really struggled at A-level. I failed 3 out of my 4 A-levels, but the one I really excelled in was communication studies. Obviously, it's paid off.
Hey!
And
I done communication studies as well.
yeah, it was great. I really felt like I was in my place, and it was because of her. And our end of year project, we had to make like some bit of information or something. So some kids did like a pamphlet, or some kids did a poster. And for some reason, I was really into football, and I was really into like the fanzine culture. So I said, I'm going to make a 30-page fanzine. Wow. And all the other kids were like, "Are you mad? That's way too much." And Mrs. Ruffle said, "Yes, you can. You can do that." And I did it, and she believed in me, and I did it, and I made it, and that actually was part of the reason I ended up doing journalism at uni and stuff, and because she said yes. And when you were talking about that one teacher, that came to my mind.
That can't be a coincidence, can it? No. You know, that positive experience that you had, it's got to mean something.
It does.
Yeah,
it does. It's real.
It connects.
Yeah.
That, like, so much goes on in your life, there's only certain things I can remember anymore. And that's just not because of the bleed, that's just because so much has gone on. But for someone to have impacted your life that 30 years later you can remember their name, like, that's a big impact. Yeah. And we're not talking about somebody that you see on the news every day, or do you get what I mean? Sometimes it's easy to remember my name. Yeah, it's easy to remember my name, it's easy to remember Jason's name, because even if you're like, oh, you know, people all the time go, "You used to be a footballer." I'm like, "No, I'm the athlete." But it just shows how you, do you understand that people recognise you, but for you to be able to take your mind back, in our case, my case, then to 35 years ago, you know, 40 years ago, that's a lot. But clearly that person impacted my life, and that's just school. You know, I've got people like Baroness Sue Campbell that I met when, when I lost my first friend, and you know, her giving me time, me going into her fancy office. The story she tells, I put my feet up. She tells everybody this, but I put my feet, she must have gone hour, and she came back and was sat behind the desk with my feet on the desk.
Make yourself at home.
Yeah, feeling comfy.
But without people like that, not just then, but even up to a couple of years ago, I needed her support and guidance. Why? Because she's been through stuff. And I think that's what I'd say to anybody. Don't be afraid to ask. There are genuine people out there that will give you the time and try and help you solve the problem. And just more people need to do that. The world would be such a greater place.
And it costs nothing, doesn't it? Like you said, it costs nothing for somebody to say, yeah, you can do that. Yeah. And I am, again, even now as an adult, I sometimes try and take time to think about, you know, what I say and the, you know, the actions and consequences of that. And, you know, it is possible. You know, you can do good things, and just by being given that positive encouragement can change people's lives. So I'm very aware of those experiences. I'm very aware sometimes not to let the kind of rigmarole of society and, you know, the stresses that we as adults have and stuff like that, and then me becoming pessimistic and something in you know, sitting in doom city kind of thing. Just got to try and have that, you know, kind of real kind of positive growth mindset. So you always get nice reminders, and it's really good talking and hearing those positive experiences. So yeah.
Well, you've shared your experiences throughout your life so generously throughout this episode, and actually it would be amazing to go back one more time and find out, if you could speak to your 10-year-old self, what advice would you give them? So we'll start with you, Jason.
Well, it has to be the advice I'd give is, don't be afraid to try, you know, new things. Don't let the barrier and fear of like, I'm not going to be good, I don't want to embarrass myself. You know, you embrace that kind of opportunity, because through doing that, you might find something which is going to totally change your life and direction and give you the most fulfilling kind of journey experience possible. And Yes, it's great to have whatever dreams and stuff like that. It's really important, but it's the lessons you learn trying to achieve it, you know, and that's it's not about the totally the end product. It's about that kind of process and journey. I think that's probably the thing I would like to say. Yeah.
Darren, what about yourself?
In the past, there's been so many things I'd want to say, but I think where I'm at currently, everything that's happened for a reason and got me to this point where I am. I think the only thing I'd say is don't be afraid to be proud of yourself. Yeah. Don't be afraid to give yourself a pat on the back and realise how far you've come. Don't be afraid to reflect. Because, it hasn't been easy and it won't be easy. Then I'll be telling my 10-year-old self it's not going to be easy, but through all those trials and tribulations and struggles and the highs and the low, actually just be proud, because that'll give you the true peace of mind that you're seeking. And it doesn't have to, it's not outwardly proud, it's just internally, just appreciate how far you've come and be proud of what you've achieved. That'd be it. That's it.
Well, you're doing incredible work. It's amazing to hear what you're doing with schools up and down the country and hopefully across the world at some stage. How can people find out more, Jason?
By visiting our website, www.teamsuperschools.co.uk.
Amazing. Well, it's been an absolute joy having you with us. Thank you so much for sharing your stories on Beyond the Sport.
Cheers.
Thank you for inviting us. It's been brilliant.
And for your engagement, research and receptiveness. Yeah, brilliant.
It's been a pleasure, hasn't it?
Oh, it's been more than a pleasure.
I
It's
could
been
sit here
it's
for
been it's actually been life-changing, genuinely. So guys, thank you for watching us on Beyond the Sport. Thanks to Darren and Jason. Find out more at Team Super School if you're interested in that, and don't forget to like this and subscribe wherever you get these podcasts, and we'll see you again very soon on Beyond the Sport.